All right. Um, this is basically going to be a thing I do from time to time. I'm going to see if I can do it uh, every chance I get. I really want to do this before every series, but it just depends. It's up to time and things of that nature. So, anywho, uh, so what I want to do is preview the upcoming series and kind of dissect what I saw or what we saw, I guess, um, in the previous series. So this time, uh, the Ranger series. Obviously, the first game was awesome, glorious, all that stuff, and you know, naturally, the first thing we think when something like this happens is, oh hey, maybe we can take 2 out of 3. We scored 8 runs. We look good doing it. Uh, but I guess we kind of neglected to realize that we struck out 13 times on opening night, because we were too high off of the win, over the Rangers. So, naturally we ignored quite a few things, and they reared uh, their ugly heads, um, the last 2 games. Ogando and Darvish just made us look completely overmatched. Made us look like a 112 loss baseball team. I don't think we'll lose 112 games, but the consensus thinks that we will, or something like that. So that's why I use that. Now, that's not to say that this team can't hit better. They can hit better. That's obvious. You just can't strike out 30 times in 2 nights and expect good things to happen. That's 15 Ks a day, and they actually had 15 Ks on those 2 days. They had more Ks than 2 teenage girls uh, in a text messaging session, and we don't need that. So I think the natural thing for us to do is to go back to the drawing board. Um, we can't have that anymore, and obviously it's going to keep happening because we have guys that you know that are gonna strike out. I mean, you know, um, so I'm not going to get too upset by the fact that something I saw coming is happening right before our very eyes. I'm not going to get too angry about it, even though, like I said, it shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. So, one thing I will say about the Rangers series is a couple of times, the defense did show that they can be good in the infield. Now, I'm just talking about the infield here, not the outfield. The outfield's a story for another minute or so. I don't know. I love Dominguez at third. I don't like Wallace at third, by the way. I love Dominguez at third. What Marwin and Ronnie Cedeno can bring at um, short is pretty good at times, I guess. Shortstops are, you know. Altuve is steady at second, and whoever's at first. I like Wallace at first. Payne is obviously a better defensive player um, at first. Um, and one thing I will say is that we have to get better in the outfield, though, as a defense. That dive by Maxwell on Tuesday night was just about as inexcusable as you're going to get. I have no idea why he dove. I'm not saying that cost us the game, but it's little things like that that can cost you a game. So that was bad. Carter dropping a fly ball, I can't even. Like I said on Twitter yesterday, that's going to be in the file footage for when the Astros are good again. They're going to put that play in there. Like, remember when this team was 58 and 104 or whatever they want to say. That's going to be in the file footage for sure. I don't know if Carter will be on this team by the time we're good, but that particular play will probably be in that footage. Um, the starting pitching was phenomenal this week. I almost called him Brad Norris. Bud Norris, Lucas Harrell, and Phil Umber. They were all good this week, and and that's fine. Honestly, I thought one of them might get shelled this week. None of them did. I was proud of what I saw out of Umber yesterday. He got out of a lot of jams yesterday. Same with Lucas Harrell. Bud, even though he only gave up 2 runs, I thought he could have finished hitters a lot better. But hey, what are you gonna do? You know, um, as much as I appreciate those starting those efforts by our starting pitching, the bullpen has got to do better. This can't continue. I mean, you can't have games 1-0, 2-0. Games that are relatively close, and then you bring the bullpen in, and they can't even keep the game at least a little close. I mean, we went from 1-0 to 7-0, just like that. So we can't have that. That's just awful. And it's going to be the same people, I presume, that are going to give us issues. I love Josh Fields out of the bullpen. I think Wesley Wright's steady, even though he'll give up his fair share of runs. And now one thing I will say is that I think we might have something with Varys, but we got to see him in a safe situation. I'm not the guy that's going to get too angry, I guess is the term. Angry with somebody who's a closer that came in a non-safe situation. Especially when we're trailing. I'm really not going to get it too bent out of shape about that. About his efforts. If he gives up 2 runs, I'm not going to get angry about that. If we're down 5-0 already or something. Overall, the bats need to wake up, and I feel like if the bats wake up, we can do something, most nights. I feel like nothing's impossible when the bats are doing well. Which brings me to the Oakland series, starting tomorrow night at 7:10 on some network that I've never been able to watch just yet. And the funny thing is, Oakland pretty much is the same Oakland, that I've been seeing for the last decade and change. We're going to beat you with starting pitching, we're going to beat you with defense, and we're going to beat you with, the clutch home run. Now, I like what they have out in Oakland. I think Oakland is a team that can win this division. I don't think they will, personally. I still have Texas, but I think Oakland is a team that can take this division. Oakland last night showed what they can do on most nights with their bats. Their pitching is going to always more than likely keep them in games, but their offense has a chance to really get some big hits for them. Up until late in the game, it was 4-2 and all the runs had come off of your typical doubles and singles, RBI singles, all that kind of stuff. And even before they got the 2 home runs from Lowry, former Astro, and Chris Young, Houstonian. So this weekend rather, it's going to be a little tough, to say the least, to get one game out of this. If the game we're going to get, it has to be, if we're going to get one game, we have to get them within the next 2 nights, which is tomorrow and Saturday. Sunday is going to be extremely tough with Brett Anderson going. Anderson is a phenomenal starter, and I'm a little worried about that game, to say the least. And you know, one thing I have to say about Oakland also is the fact that they they tend to, you know, they can shut any team down. After we just after what we just witnessed, Astros bats could be in a lot of trouble with Cologne. Yes, Bartolo Cologne's old ass, and Brett Anderson. So this weekend is going to be a little tough, for the bats again. Every night's going to be tough for these bats as long as they keep striking out and swinging at bad pitches and not being patient. I don't. Nobody expects them to be patient. Okay, nobody. But we expect them to strike out a lot, but we also kind of expect to, have a chance in that bat. Every time we see somebody walk up to the plate. So the key this week is to try and get if we have to manufacture runs, that's fine. I mean, no, you're not going to hear a complaint from me via Twitter. Complain and whine about manufacturing runs. So the natural thing for us to do this weekend is to play better defense. Can't have games like yesterday. That's another thing we're gonna watch and see how that progresses down the road. Can't have games like that defensively and at the plate. Pitching wise, I mean, holding Texas to 4 runs, I mean, most days will get you a win. But with Texas's offense not being as good as it was, like let's say last year, yeah. So as an Astros fan, I must say that we need to do better offensively for sure, and keep getting this great starting pitching. This weekend we have, along with Norris on Sunday, we have Peacock tomorrow, the former Oakland A, and Eric Bedard on Saturday. So it's going to be very important to get those guys going. In the rotation, you have to keep getting good starting pitching. It's not going to last forever. I don't expect it to. No one does. But hopefully we can get some good starts from them, and maybe the bats can wake up for at least 2 of these games. Every series is just looking to win the series. That's that's the gig here. That's the job. Let's just win the series, and then go from there. Because after this week, got to go on the road. Seattle and Los Angeles won't be kind to us, and I'll definitely preview those for sure. I'll recap this one on Monday, I hope. If not Sunday night, but with the lighting in this room, it's probably going to be impossible to do any kind of recap on Sunday night, so it'd probably be Monday morning. Also, Spider-Man shirt. I'm sure y'all was kind of looking at that, wondering what the hell that was on my shirt. But if not, who cares? But hopefully, when I recap this series on Monday or Sunday, whatever I feel, hopefully when I recap this series, we at least took 2 out of 3. Would love a sweep, but that might be a little impossible. Would love a sweep, but 2 out of 3 wouldn't be too bad. And hopefully we can keep this starting pitching up. It was great to see Humber, Harrell, and Norris all do well against a pretty potent Ranger lineup. So let's go Astros, and hopefully we can do some damage against the A's. See ya.